Hi, how are you? Good.
I know. Well, let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Buenos días todos. Bienvenidos, everybody. Welcome. Over 40 years ago, the Latino Legislative Caucus was formed with 5 members. The original members formed the caucus to further policy priorities that protect, promote, and preserve the rights of the Latino community throughout California. Today, the caucus now consists of 25 members, and it remains committed to those original goals of playing a significant role in shaping the public policy at the state level. I'd like to begin by introducing the Latino caucus members that we have today, including our vice chair, Lorena Gonzalez. We have Wendy Carrillo, Jose Medina, Eddie Garcia. We have Sabrina Cervantes, Eloise Gomez Reyes, Assemblymember Aguiar Curry, and we have Senator Ed Hernandez. And since the caucus was formed, California's demographics have significantly changed. Our Latino population now tops 15 million people in the state and accounts for 40% of the population. Fortunately, the needs, desires, and priorities of Latinos mirror those of all of Californians. What we want in our Latino community is no different than what anybody else wants and needs to achieve the American dream. They want excellent schools, clean air, water, clean drinking water, safe streets, quality health care, and good paying jobs. Plain and simple, they want what everybody else wants, an equal opportunity to succeed and realize the American dream. For Latinos, those desires are, sadly, still a far-off dream. Indeed, the statistical picture of Latinos in California is not as promising as we would hope. Latinos are more likely to have no health insurance. Latinos tend to earn less than Californians as a whole. They live in communities and in circumstances of higher poverty rates than the rest of Californians, and they are less likely to own homes and have higher unemployment. There exists a substantial achievement gap for Latinos in K-12 education, and nearly half of Latinos have less than a high school education compared to 19% of the overall population. And we can go on and on and on with that list. That list is pretty long. Fighting to turn these numbers around are why most of us got elected into office. Our state cannot continue to grow in a healthy way and maintain its economic prominence unless we educate, employ, and keep healthy the fastest growing sector of our workforce. To address these pressing issues this year, we have identified 20 bills as legislative priorities, and we have updated our policy priorities, and these are contained in folders that we all have given you. Last year, we also set out an unprecedented amount of priority bills, 15 of which 20 got approved through either the governor's signature or the budget process. That's more than this Latino caucus has ever achieved in the past. And we're working very hard to increase those numbers every year. I want to get started and have our members present their bills. We are giving you a complete list of those 20 bills and what they do, but I'd like you to hear it from our members' mouth directly in terms of what their bills are and why they're fighting this cause. I would like to begin with our vice chair and my Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, to begin by discussing her measure.
Thank you. We have a couple of bills this year I'm really excited about that have made the list of our priority bills. The first is a reminder that before the Me Too movement, our janitors said, yeah, basta. And we passed a bill, AB 1978, to protect our janitors from sexual harassment on the job. This year, we're back with AB 2079, which would require sexual harassment and violence prevention training for janitors, which is already in the previous bill. But this would ensure that it's conducted by peer trainers known as promotoras. It'll allow these women to be their own educators. The second bill that's on this priority list is AB 3022. And this is an unfortunate reality that we'd even need this bill. It basically would allow for dreamers, for students who are in their senior year who get deported, if they're in good academic standing, to allow them to go ahead and get their diploma despite the deportation. This is something that was started by the Department of Education for folks during the Vietnam War who turned 18 but and were drafted and left in the middle of their senior year, that they were basically given their diploma as long as they were in good standing. We're going to extend that to, unfortunately, kids who are deported during that year as well to help make that transition smoother. Our next member up is...
Yeah, it's actually going to be, I'm sorry, Assemblymember Eloise Gomez-Reyes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. The bill that I have introduced, AB 2015, has to do with our dreamers, making sure that they do file their applications for under the DREAM Act and also for FAFSA. We're requiring the high schools to now provide some time to help the students do their application. We're finding that many of our dreamers are not filling out the application for lack of information and for fear. And it's really important that we provide the information, the correct information, the truthful information, so that they can fill out the forms and apply for and receive the aid that they are entitled to. That's AB 2015. Thank you.
And now we have Senator.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. The federal government has just is going to be allowing states to require work requirements for those that are going to be applying for Medi-Cal. The state of California has led the nation with regard to the implementation of the Affordable Care Act, and we're going to do everything we can to make it easier. Therefore, this bill that I've introduced would not, let me repeat that, would not require and would say to the state of California, and if the governor signs this bill, that we are not going to make it a requirement for individuals to have work in order for them to get Medi-Cal. Quiero decir ahorita que el estado de California está haciendo todo posible para hacerlo más fácil para que la gente pueda agarrar su salud, ayuda en parte de salud. Estamos aquí para ayudar a los pacientes y el gobierno federal quiere decir que gente que va a aplicar para Medi-Cal que tiene que trabajar. Voy a decir ahorita que no es que es importante que el estado, que California es muy importante que gente que está aquí que deben de tener ayuda seguro y vamos a hacerlo más fácil y no vamos a hacer que deben de trabajar. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Cecilia Aguiar-Curry. I represent rural areas in Northern California. As a representative of dozens of Latino rural communities, I know firsthand that our farm workers are the backbone of our thriving food-producing economy and that they have different and special needs. Today, we have many more women working in the fields, and we have families looking for places to stay in our state housing centers. Few people realize how diverse farm work is and how varied our workers' needs are. There is no one size that fits all. AB 2887 will update a 50-year-old state farm worker center program to increase local flexibility in the operation of state-owned farm worker housing centers. This bill will give our existing local public agency partners flexibility to meet farm workers and family needs, improve the living conditions, match residency dates to accommodate school and work schedules, and adjust subsidies to assist those workers who need help most. I'm looking forward to partnering with the Latino Caucus and stakeholders to make sure this bill gets through. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Assemblymember Sabrina Cervantes representing the 60th Assembly District. And today I am bringing forth AB 1786. Issues related to our veterans population is a high priority of mine, which is why I am proud to author this bill relating to our student veteran population. AB 1786 will establish an articulation officer within the California Community College Chancellor's Office to develop a program to facilitate the transition of recent veterans to institutions of higher education. Currently, there is no standard pathway from the training they receive while they were in the military. Instead, they are required to take courses that learning skills they have already acquired during their years in the service. So upon implementation of this bill, military to college articulation could happen much more effectively for our student veterans. Additionally, it will reduce the amount of time our student veterans are in college and significantly improve their career attainment. There are currently 1.6 million veterans who are in their 20s nationwide, and it is time for California to take this next step in helping our veterans transition into higher education. Thank you to the Latino Caucus and my colleagues for making this bill a priority.
Good morning. Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia, representing Imperial and Coachella Valleys. We've introduced Assembly Bill 1885, the California Resident Worker Permit and Stabilization Act, and the intent of the bill is to establish a task force led by all of the appropriate agencies here in California that work and deal with workforce training and labor circumstances, and march down to Washington, D.C. and ask that a program tailored around the service industry and the agriculture industry be established for the purpose of legalizing this labor force. The fact is that we have a large labor shortages in these arenas, and we can no longer wait for Washington to act on a comprehensive immigration policy. We believe that this policy could trigger the interests of other states that encompass strong agriculture and service industries that drive the economics of their states, and we believe that once again California can take the lead. We don't need investments in walls. We don't need to militarize the border. We need to stabilize the workforce in these industries in order to make sure that these California residents that have been here contributing to our economy, paying taxes, have certainty as it relates to the legalization of their futures. Para nosotros, la propuesta AB 1885 es una manera de formar un grupo de trabajo y trabajar con la administración de Washington para asegurar que los trabajadores en California, en los sectores agrícola y los sectores del turismo, tengan la oportunidad de seguir trabajando y contribuyendo a la economía de nuestro estado. Para nosotros no podemos esperar más que Washington, D.C. tome acción con una reforma migratoria en donde nosotros estamos en peligro de, desafortunadamente, tener una destabilización de nuestra economía aquí en California. Pensamos que no es el momento de construir un muro, no es el momento de poner un ejército en la frontera, es un momento de enfocarnos en la fuerza laboral de los sectores agrícola y de las industrias turísticas. Para California son sectores muy importantísimas y por eso se ha introducido esta propuesta, la AB 1885, y tenemos mucha confianza que nuestros colegas van a apoyar esta propuesta y hacer un cambio dentro de este tema. Gracias.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wendy Carrillo. I represent the 51st Assembly District, which includes the City of Los Angeles and unincorporated East LA. I am proud to stand here as the newest member of the Latino Caucus to get a chance to stand in support of the priority bills. As Senator Hueso mentioned, now that California is largest population is Latino, what we propose serves the entire state. I'm happy to be working with Assemblymember Santiago to joint author AB 1862. The measure will provide legal assistance to a newly vulnerable sector of immigrants who are losing their temporary protective status thanks to President Trump, who continues to attack the immigrant community, not only in our state, but across the country. Over the last few days, the president has consistently proven just how little he cares about the Latino community. He's using his Twitter account, even on Easter Sunday, to attack DACA recipients. And so we want to do everything we can to move a progressive agenda forward that helps all immigrants. This is why the strength and unity of the Latino Caucus is so important right now, because it demonstrates how California will fight for all Latinos, for all immigrants in our state and across our nation. To say a few words in Spanish as well. Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Wendy Carrillo. Soy la asamblista que representa la ciudad de Los Ángeles y el condado del este de Los Ángeles. Tengo, mi parte del paquete es también con el asamblista Miguel Santiago. AB 1862 es un proyecto que pondría fondos necesarios para tepecianos. Comenzó con la comunidad salvadoreña, pero ahora estamos incluyendo a muchos más. Estamos viendo ahorita unas decisiones del presidente que continúan atacando a nuestra comunidad inmigrante, no solamente latina aquí en el estado de California, pero a través de la nación. Recipientes de TPS se ganan la vida en muchas industrias, incluyendo construcción, jardinería y cuidado de niños. También muchos tienen sus propios negocios y son dueños de sus propias casas con hijos que también han nacido aquí en los Estados Unidos. Y sería integral para nuestra economía que podamos hacer todo lo posible para que tepecianos a través del estado de California tengan los recursos necesarios para poder seguir adelante y para poder sacar a sus familias adelante en nuestro estado y en nuestro país. Así que le doy las gracias por todos que han venido hoy y también a mis colegas que han hecho nuestra legislación una prioridad. Gracias.
Good morning. I'm State Assembly Member Jose Medina. I represent the 61st Assembly District of Riverside. I want to echo what our chair, Senator Hueso, said about education. I was a longtime educator, 34 years in the classroom, and know firsthand the educational achievement gap that exists between Latino students and other students. And with that, I am proud to present this year Assembly Bill 2772, a bill that would require ethnic studies to be a high school graduation requirement in the state of California. In a pluralistic society as California is, we cannot have citizens who don't know about each other. And in the present education environment, it is even more important. And so Assembly Bill 2772 would make ethnic studies a graduation requirement for all high school students in the state of California.
Good morning, everyone. Many thanks to our Chairman, Ben Hueso, and Vice Chair Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher for this opportunity to be here this morning. I think as you heard, our caucus is focused on a number of issues in different areas that are of concerns to Californians. I'm here today to talk briefly about our state's housing affordability crisis that, of course, impacts all communities, but of course that includes our Latino community. It's more and more difficult, as many of you probably know personally, to make ends meet because of how high housing costs. California is home to 21 of the 30 most expensive rental housing markets in the United States. And a person earning a minimum wage must work 3 jobs on average to pay the rent of an average 2-bedroom apartment. I'm grateful to my colleagues in the Latino Caucus who have recognized this issue and are acting upon it by making my bill, AB 2372, a priority for this caucus. AB 2372, also known as the California Sustainable and Affordable Housing Act, or the CASA Act, incentivizes the production of affordable housing for low-income Californians along transit priority corridors. Now, the innards of this bill are a little hard to understand if you're not a land use professional, but ultimately the bottom line is that this would increase the production of housing for people in California who earn between $30,000 and $60,000 a year. So I think for many of the constituents we represent, the question often is, does anyone in the Capitol understand what we're going through, and are you doing anything about it? The answer is, we understand there is a housing crisis. We know that you're suffering, and we are acting to fix it. With the caucus's prioritization of AB 2372, I'm hopeful this bill will become law, and when it does, communities across California can take advantage of the tools inside of it to make sure more families can make ends meet and afford to live in this great state of ours. I want to thank Assembly Members Carrillo, Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, and Miguel Santiago for their co-authorship of this important bill. It will be heard in the Assembly Housing Committee next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to our chair and our vice chair for having us. I'm Monique Limon. I represent Santa Barbara and Ventura counties. And we have 2 bills that we are going to prioritize among these Latino Caucus bills. One is AB 1877 that addresses the natural disasters. What we learned in the natural disasters that happened in California is that clear and accurate information is critical to save lives. And this bill, AB 1877, would ensure that we have real-time information in multiple languages for our constituents. When the census lets us know that more than 44% of households in California speak a language other than English, we understand that those households need accurate information in order to save lives. Additionally, we've introduced AB 1037, which establishes a Cal Grant B service incentive program under the California Student Aid Commission. This would ensure that that students who are dreamers have access to one of California's own scholarship and grant program for higher education. Muchísimas gracias. Quiero compartir con ustedes que tenemos dos pedazos de legislación, AB 1817, que ayudaría a comunidades a asegurar que la información que tenemos en desastres naturales es información que no solo es información que sale, que es correcta, sino que también es información que salva vidas, porque es muy importante. Desafortunadamente aprendimos que esa información no siempre es proveída en instantes de desastres naturales. También tenemos AB 1037 que ayuda a los estudiantes que están siguiendo pasos para asegurar educación más avanzada y que tengan esa oportunidad de recibir becas por el estado de California. Gracias.
Thank you. I'm Assemblymember Blanca Rubio. I represent the 48th Assembly District down in Southern California, the East San Gabriel Valley. And today I would like to make you aware of my bill, AB 2477, which will designate a Dreamer Resource Liaison in California public high schools, colleges, and universities. This bill passed yesterday out of the Assembly Higher Education Committee, and it's moving along. It is estimated that each year approximately 65,000 undocumented students graduate from high schools. And while California has taken the lead on enacting legislation to provide opportunities for our undocumented youth, we only see 20% of these students attending college. Our undocumented students across the state talk about the lack of information their teachers provide when it comes to resources for undocumented youth. Since the implementation of AB 540, the California DREAM Act, and other pieces of meaningful legislation, access and affordability to higher education is now attainable for undocumented student population. Given the current federal climate around DACA, constant pushback from the Trump administration, and recent remarks from the president on Easter Sunday, we as legislators, now more than ever, must do everything we can to help our undocumented students and their families. Despite the rhetoric coming from out of D.C., our dreamers have made California a better place and continue to amaze me and the whole state with their countless advocacy efforts under this federal administration. This is why it is so important to have a Dreamer Resource Liaison at campuses throughout the state. Thank you for your time today, and thank you to the Latino Caucus for making this a priority bill.
Good morning, and thank you. I'm Assemblymember Freddie Rodriguez, representing the 52nd Assembly District. In the Inland Empire, the region where I represent, it's a region that suffers from some of the worst air quality in the country. However, our region is historically ignored when it comes to funding. AB 2885 is a step to fix that. This bill requires the Air Resource Board to prioritize rebates from the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project to low-income consumers and disadvantaged communities. We must take steps at every level to combat climate change and clean up the dirty air our families are breathing every day. This bill directs money from the communities where it is needed the most and makes it easier for residents in some of the worst areas of the state to purchase a cleaner vehicle. Representing large Latino communities, I know how disproportionately impacted they are impacted by the poor air quality. As the legislature, it is our responsibility to ensure that investments are going where they're needed the most. And thank you all for being here, and I want to thank the Latino Caucus for making this a priority bill as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, I have one measure that is on the priority list as well, and it was sponsored by the Judicial Council and was brought to my attention by the California Supreme Court Justice Tino Cuellar. This measure, SB 1155, seeks to expand the language accessibility in our court system specifically. This bill improves access to justice for thousands of Californians by making interpreter services available in small claim court proceedings. It is an important step in this long overdue, given the number of Californians who utilize this critical component of our justice system and don't speak English. So es muy apropiado que esta iniciativa tiene en su corazón, la medida es realmente proveer servicios de traducción para los miembros que están utilizando las cortes en California. Y eso también es muy importante que nos podamos comunicar con nuestra comunidad latina, pero que ellos también se puedan comunicar con el gobierno que les afecta. También me da gusto de los miembros aquí que utilizaron el idioma español para mejor transmitir este mensaje que tenemos con nuestra comunidad. Al final quisiera abrir esta oportunidad para tomar preguntas. Does anybody have any questions? I think we're done with our message here, but if anybody has any more detailed questions, this is the opportunity to ask. Anyone at all?
Bueno, lo hacemos en español si no les importa mucho, porque eso es separado, pero sobre la dirección que tomará, a comparación a otros años, la bancada latina este año, especialmente ante un gobierno federal que se ha comportado no muy amigable, digamos, con el inmigrante.
Pues para empezar, somos una comunidad con mucho orgullo y somos una comunidad que también merece ser tratados con respeto. Y no sentimos que este presidente y esta administración siente que nuestra comunidad merece el respeto, porque ese respeto, digo, porque realmente nuestra comunidad contribuye mucho a esta economía, inmigrantes en particular también contribuyen mucho, y es tiempo de empezar a enfocar recursos equitativamente en todo el país para apoyar a todos. Y cuando hay decisiones que se están haciendo en Washington que realmente están excluyendo ciertos miembros de nuestra comunidad, empieza a convertirse en un peligro social para todos. Separar ciertas personas de la sociedad y tratarlos de una manera sin respeto, pero también estamos perdiendo derechos con este gobierno. Y nosotros en California vamos a luchar para mantenerlos y para avanzar nuestros derechos. Me dio mucho orgullo hace muchos años atrás, estando aquí con mis colegas, reversamos muchas leyes que fueron en contra específicamente de la comunidad latina. Y me dio mucho orgullo sabiendo que mi papá sufrió mucho racismo en este estado en esos años anteriores. Y vamos a seguir trabajando para hacer California un estado más inclusivo y demostrarle a la nación que son las políticas adecuadas para avanzar todos los intereses de la nación. Vamos a mejorar la economía, vamos a crear paz en la comunidad con avanzar iniciativas que celebran diversidad, que respetan a todas las personas, no importa de dónde vengan, qué crean, y su religión o su pasado o su etnicidad. So, some closing comments. I mean, we're really stressing the fact that this year's Latino Caucus is going to work very, very hard, just as hard as we did last year, to call the attention to the need of the fact that investing in all our communities, investing in everybody equally, is investing in the Latino community. And all our bills, there isn't a single bill that singles out Latinos in particular and say this is only for Latinos. But these are programs that target areas where we have, where people are struggling. All people that find themselves in that situation are struggling, irrespective of their ethnicities. But we find a lot more Latinos in those positions, and we need to create a more equitable state. And that's what we're trying to propose with our bills. And I just want to thank my colleagues for working so hard to put these wonderful measures together. I'm very proud of the measures that we put together, and we're going to work very hard to bring them home to the finish line. Thank you very much.
tomorrow. Tomorrow.